Welcome to Miami. Tonight, under the lights of Hard Rock Stadium, a spot in the World Cup semifinal is on the line. National survival is entangled with the race for the Golden Boot, a direct head-to-head shootout between Erling Haaland with 7 goals and Harry Kane, sitting right behind him with 6. Historically, this matchup looks like a straightforward imbalance. England, the footballing heavyweight, against a Norwegian side that hasn't played on this stage in decades. But England's deep tournament experience is now colliding with a Norwegian team currently dismantling traditional hierarchies. What we are actually watching is 2 parallel runs crashing into each other at peak velocity in a quarterfinal where the odds are split almost exactly down the middle. To understand why the odds are so tight, we have to look at what England endured to get here. Their round of 16 victory took place inside the hostile, high-altitude cauldron of the Estadio Azteca. They dragged themselves to a 3-2 win against Mexico, having to survive the final 36 minutes a man down after Jarell Quansah received a red card. That victory wrecked their defensive rotation. Quansah is suspended. Jordan Henderson fractured his wrist. Reece James is managing a lingering hamstring issue, and Marc Guehi is highly doubtful with a hamstring strain of his own. England survived the altitude and the Mexican comeback, but the physical cost of that night has left their backline compromised right as they step up to face the most dangerous striker on the planet. On the other side, Norway is operating on pure momentum. They have battered their way into their first ever World Cup quarterfinal. The last time a Norwegian squad looked this dangerous was 28 years ago, when they famously beat Brazil 2-1. This current generation just pulled off the exact same result against the exact same opponent. And driving this run is Erling Haaland. He is turning an underdog story into a lethal threat through sheer mathematical dominance. This chart shows conversion rates for World Cup strikers with at least 15 attempts. Haaland is currently putting away 39% of his shots. The only player to match this specific level of ruthless efficiency at a World Cup was Gary Lineker in 1986. And nobody else has done it in the nearly 3 decades since. Norway has built their entire system around feeding this anomaly, turning what could have been a cute tournament story into a genuine nightmare for opposing defenses. That system relies on one primary mechanism: Martin Ødegaard slipping precise through balls into the space behind the opposing defensive line for Haaland to chase down. England's standard tactical shape requires maintaining a high defensive line. It is a setup that perfectly invites Norway's exact method of attack. But without Guehi's ability to read those runs and missing Quansah's recovery pace, England simply do not have the personnel to execute that high line safely. To make matters worse, Declan Rice is fighting through neural hamstring pain and a sudden illness. If he can't apply maximum midfield pressure, Ødegaard will have the time and space to pick those passes all night. The cascading injuries from Mexico have systematically stripped away England's defenses, exposing them perfectly to the exact weapon Norway wields best. When you feed all these variables into the predictive models, the data flags this as the most volatile, evenly contested fixture left in the bracket. The algorithm gives England a narrow 54% probability to advance, leaving a 46% chance for the underdogs to pull off the upset. The model highlights a 32% likelihood of extra time, indicating margins too thin to resolve in 90 minutes. Defensive stability is mathematically off the table. Through 5 games, both of these teams have scored and conceded in every single match they've played. The numbers don't point toward a slow tactical chess match. They point straight toward a chaotic, high-scoring shootout. The official AI projection calls for a grueling 3-2 thriller, with an exhausted England barely surviving in extra time. And hidden inside that chaotic scoreline is the resolution to the Golden Boot race. Whoever scores more tonight, Haaland or Harry Kane, will likely walk away with the individual hardware. We are 90 minutes away from either the greatest Norwegian victory in football history or the ultimate display of English resilience. The victor in Miami will advance to the semi-final having survived a brutal war of attrition, pushed past their absolute human limits to earn the result.